All right.
Yay!
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. It's another Real Reviews episode. I'm glad to be with my guys. Yes, one the Supplier, the Dad Panther. How you guys doing? How's your weekend so far?
It's great, exciting, off the chain, splendiferous. It's all the adjectives. It's all that. That's all.
Dad Panther, you got any ones you want to throw out there?
I'm not using an ad lib, but everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, everything is good. We got this Father's Day weekend coming up, so I mean that's happening now, so it's all good. So I'm excited to talk about the movie that we're going to talk about today. This is something that Mastermind, the host of the indie show, which you can find at bbclife.com every Tuesday at 8, is actually going to be interviewing the producer, writer, director of Sons to the Grave. Which is a film that you can find on Tubi. Sons to the Grave tells a story about an 18-year-old basketball phenom headed to the NBA, but he suffers the consequences of leaving his Hudson neighborhood. All right, so this is something that I'm actually glad we're tapping into because we wanted to start dealing with more indie projects, so shining a light on more indie projects. Why can't I speak today? I don't know.
I felt like we jinxed it, or Jay, when he was like, "Oh, I'm using adjectives." I said the ad lib, and now we just
and that's
English
just
is
like,
hard for us.
Blah 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 blah. Yeah,
It's the end of English.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm actually excited that we're going to start venturing in this direction because there's a lot of things out there that don't get the recognition it needs. A lot of stuff out there that we can definitely get behind and support. And even if they don't have a major budget, you know, there's still a good storytelling out there and good things that's trying to be done. So with that being said, let's go ahead and kick this off and get ready to do this feature review.
Trust, young brother.
Echo.
He doesn't live here. RD does.
This ain't no fairy tale. Just hush. I'll be right back. You're not only a team in here, you're a team outside these doors.
You going somewhere, Marcus?
Yeah, college. You gotta check this out. Hey.
Yes. So as you can see from the trailer, this movie actually has a very recognizable cast. You know what I'm saying? We got Trevor Jackson, who played what was the film that we were just discussing? Superfly. That was one of the bigger projects he was in. And you got Darrin, Dewitt, Henson. You got Maria Howell. A lot of recognizable faces that's in on television and on the big screen. So that was actually something that I wanted to point out about this one I didn't mention earlier. Well, let's get into initial impressions. All right, JS1, what was your initial impression when we brought this to you?
Yowzers. My initial impression was quite simple, sir. Excitement. You know what I mean? When you look back on the history of filmmaking, nothing has affected it more than Tubi. And since I've spent my entire life avoiding Tubi, it was exciting to now be forced to delve into that world with a black film, with a lead character that I'm familiar with and that I like. Trevor Jackson. Is that his name, right? Trevor Jackson?
That is Trevor Jackson.
All right, cool. Yeah. I like Trevor Jackson. I think he's great. There were a few other great characters I saw in the trailer. So I'm like, yo, this might be one of them unsung joints. So I was actually a little excited. So that's all I got to say.
All right. The Dad Panther, what was your initial impression, sir?
I had nothing to go with. I had no clue about this movie until it was put on our radar. And I have actually been spending a lot of time watching Tubi movies and enjoying not having to worry about anything other than the story and the acting. So I was excited to just, take another story, take another trip.
Absolutely. I had to say the same. I had not heard of this, so when shout out to Mastermind, when he brought it to my attention, I was like, okay, all right, let's get into it. So I was actually excited to see what it's all about. So I would like to go ahead and start with you, JS1, if you don't mind, sir.
No
Highs and lows.
Can I be snooty like I was last time?
Absolutely.
My guy, music, load the music. Yes, in 2024, your boy JS1 takes to Tubi to engulf himself, to enrich his experience by watching a black film by black people about a black story with black tragedy. Is it black tragedy or is it just, some random movie making? All right, guys, bring it down. All right, so what I want to talk about is very specific and I'm going to be quite short with it. I thought there were some really, really great elements to it, but there were a few small things. All right, just cut it. Just cut it. Yeah, thanks. All right. So I did just too much. So the bright side of it, the story is super impactful. It grabs you, it brings you in, and it makes you super emotional. All right. It has a really beautiful arc to it. And that's how I felt about that part. I love the acting. I don't think I've seen this great of acting in an independent film before, like a small independent film. The not narration, but the direction and the way it's shot, the lighting and all of that. I thought they did a great job with that. It reminds me of some of the dope joints I've seen in the 90s. All right. And then also there were some people that stood out that weren't made like main characters. It's like whoever was the casting director just did a phenomenal job of just bringing together a group of people that not only work together well, but just seem to be able to play off of each other and just create this energy in scenes. The fact that I learned so much about a town I wasn't familiar with, I thought that was pretty cool. The town kind of being a character to a certain extent, I thought that was a great idea. And then even just like you getting to see the different lifestyles, using different sets and stages to try to show the differences between, the rich and the poor. A lot of times when you deal with indie films, they don't really put that much detail into that type of creativity. So I was like, man, I really enjoyed that. Now, if I was to say anything about being critical, there were certain scenes where the audio wasn't great. Like there were some gym scenes where, you could hear everybody pristinely. You could hear all of the people talking, but you didn't hear the gym. So it almost sounds like people are just having a conversation in a room, and you're like, well, they're in the gym running around. How is it that, there's no background noise? There's no sneakers hitting the floor. And then like with us being inundated with film for our whole lives, we've kind of come to expect, if you're in the gym, you're going to hear gym noises. Like if you're outside, you're going to hear people playing in the background. You're going to hear, birds chirping and different stuff like that. I feel like they just made some small minor mistakes as far as that. Lastly, I felt like there were some moments that could have been cut out because it either didn't make sense with the film or it just took me emotionally out of it. You know what I mean? Like, cause it was like, there are times when I'm all the way in and I'm with it, but then there are some times where I'm just like, whoa, why did we do that? And like, you're kind of throwing me, you know what I mean? And I felt like this could have been, with the direction being great and the acting being great, I felt like they might've rushed with the editing, and with rushing with the editing came just a few things that I felt like should have been taken out, or even certain moments that happened, it seemed to happen out of order. And I was like, man, this scene should have came first and then this scene should have came. But with that being said, the ending is super impactful. And if I can tell y'all anything, is like, if you start watching this, just go into the end. It's a beautiful ride. The lead mama in the joint, hottie, straight hottie. Shout out to you. If you're single, holla at me. My social media is right here. JS1, the supplier. I am single. Let your boy know, you know what I'm saying? So, get at your boy. And the rest of the people, man, I think everybody did a dope job. Not going to over talk it. Let's get it back to the squad. Let's go.
That's what's up. All right, yeah. So everything you were saying, actually, I agree with. I agree with a whole lot of it. So I'm not gonna go too deep with some of those things, but I am gonna elaborate. I was watching this film. And of course, I came in with Mr. Writer, Director, Eyes, everything to that effect. Highs for me, I felt like the story was a story worth telling. I was super appreciative that it didn't fall into some of the tropes or gimmicks. I know that's not a popular term, but I can't, for lack of a better word, gimmicks that some of the other films, indie films that are especially trending on Tubi are coming out with. You know, this was something that was bringing awareness to a situation that people are dealing with, no matter if it's. I mean, this story I believe is from a Toronto-based production company, even though they filmed in Atlanta. But this type of situation is something that is happening, behind the scenes with a lot of people. So it was more awareness to the story, and I really appreciate that. It wasn't just trying to throw some sex or just a whole bunch of gunplay like I said, like some of the other stuff that's trending now. So it was a story worth telling. I love the fact from my writer director eyes that they maximize the budget. I know that there was a decent budget in order to get some of the faces they got, but they also maximized the budget as far as the way they transformed certain locations. You know, the way that they made certain places look to be like the police station or look to be like the morgue. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that those were the locations they didn't have the access, but they were still able to sell you on that concept. So maximizing the budget on there definitely got me excited, because as an indie film director, you don't have access to everything. You definitely don't have access to all the money. So when you can make stuff happen with very limited resources, you get my respect. If I had to go in, if I have lows, I would say, even though this story, it had an overall focus on the situation with our lead character and whatever he was dealing with, I would have liked to have seen more basketball. I would like to have really focused and highlighted more of like why he was so great. I mean, they gave us a little bit in the beginning, but I think it could have been a nice little balance, because it took such a serious tone. And in that same tone, the overall story arc, the situation that got us the story to be told in the first place, I would have liked them to have actually maybe focused more on that. If you're not going to give us more basketball, because I felt like most of the movie was just him and his interactions, connecting with his people, which we established, so we didn't need so much. But it was a lot of scenes of just our lead character with his people and the connections that he have and how he's there for him and how what certain people are feeling, whether it's jealousy or support. And I felt like the bulk of the movie was that. And the overall arc, the overall drama, the overall thing that drove this story was kind of like playing in the background, and it should have been in the forefront. If I was to write it, or if I had a chance to redo it, then I would kind of flip it in that aspect. So that's one of the lows for me. And then also I felt like there were some elements, like JS1 said, of the story that either didn't need to be there, or in my opinion, just didn't really, it didn't fit, like with the detective and everything. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there was towards the end, I just felt like there was a lot more beyond where the story probably could have started to been tapered off, that in my opinion was not necessary, and it didn't really contribute to the story. But that's all I got. So Dad Panther, if you don't mind, sir, I would like for you, sir, if you don't mind, to go ahead and close this thing off for us and let us know your highs and lows.
All right. Well, for this movie, like you said, to not have to think about big budgets and all this other stuff, just watching people who are passionate about what they're doing, a cast that's passionate about what they're doing, you're able to just immerse yourself in the story and what they presented to you. The lows that I would say would go into, yes, I think I wanted more of a montage of basketball to show us why this individual is great. I think that would have added some depth to that character and that importance to them in the community. As far as their interaction with their friends, I felt like that interaction was there, but unfortunately it came down to the same thing, where because there was too many stories kind of going on and running multiple arcs, whether they were finished or they weren't, you left your cast, which I thought did a great job, you left them more than not feeling two-dimensional rather than three-dimensional by giving them some substance. I thought because of the sound, a lot of times taking me out of the moment, or even sometimes the camera work on moments where it was very key conversational pieces where it was going to grab you and make you feel a type of way, to see that kind of those little small things kind of take you off of it was something. The part where I would say would be the pros was the story. I thought, yes, it's another story that's coming from an area that we've all seen, we've heard on the news, or we know someone affected by it. I thought it was a really good way to tell us a different story. Now, is this Fruitville Station? No, it's not necessarily, and I think that's kind of what allowed me to really enjoy the fact that it didn't have that budget, but it still told a gripping story. It still had a great cast, which I thought everyone did a great job as far as what they were given. The only other thing that I have here for my notes is just the fact that I would love to see if the team that puts this together on their next venture, their next go around, to go ahead and kind of fine tune some of the visuals and the sounds so that we could really pour into this story. And the same sense goes with the characters as well. I think just that fine tuning, that pacing was off a little bit. And because that pacing was off, I think it kind of almost like a basketball game, you're kind of behind in the score going into that third and fourth quarter. But other than that, at the end of the day, it was a good game, a good movie. So that's what I think about it.
Yeah.
Dad Panther gets to be the MVP this episode. This is some bullshit. this nigga brought a basketball what you call it to describe filmmaking. That's gangster.
The basketball analogy. Oh,
yeah.
I just be coaching. I just be, I run the play. They tell me to play, and I just,
clean it up and bring it into the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker.
I wish I could say it was on the notes. It wasn't. I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, there we go. We'll put that out there in the universe.
Off the cusp. That's
a great freestyle, bro. That was a great
freestyle. I'm trying to tell you.
If he was battle rapping, you won. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd have Bars. To bow out. That's it. You lost me that way. All right, so James, what if you will? Let's go ahead and rate this thing.
All right, this is how we gonna rate it. Is it a classic? Is it a good watch? Is it catch on streaming? Is it not doing it for me? Is it? Oh hell no! Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will. You now. Before us go on, I just would like to let you guys know if you've made it to this far in the video, don't forget to subscribe, but also put your rating in the comments and tell us why. You know what I mean? And don't forget to use them emojis. So with that being said, the first person to go off, the MVP of the episode, Dad Panther, what is your rating?
With no hesitation, I'm going to say catch this on streaming. It's worth a watch. I would recommend going ahead and try to watch this and other movies that would be passionate from other people. So I would say yes, watch it, catch it on stream.
All right, Ed, let's go, Pippin.
So for me, I'm definitely going to give it a catch on streaming, especially as an indie film director. I feel like a lot of people appreciate it. The story is good, but you could also learn some things. Watch how they play with the camera to try and pull off some stuff without any fancy equipment. Watch how they actually, even though we've had some audio issues here and there, watch how clean the audio is outside, which is something hard to do. You can't control planes flying by, cars going by, people that's asking like, hey, what y'all doing out there? Stuff of that nature. So there's actually a very a strong quality to the production of this, and I feel like anybody who's out there trying to do your own stuff should watch and take notes, figure out what you can take from it, and then also see some things that you may want to try and improve on your own. But I say catch on streaming.
Awesome. All right, for me to clean it up and let's just take this thing out of here. My rating is this. If I, after really spending some time with it, hold on. Hey, why are you laughing at me, dog? What's going on?
You know what? It was something I ate earlier. It just came back and hit me. That's what it just
some instinct going on, and I'm about to do something. So look, I've had time to think, and I'm gonna be completely and 100% honest with you. This film not doing it for me. And I'm gonna be completely honest. The reason why, those scenes where the audio is off in certain things completely takes me out. The ending irritated the ever living fuss out of me. Even though it's a dope ending, it irritated me. You know what I'm saying? And if I have to be honest, there are a few things that confused me or like really was just like, So like, so when I say it's not doing it for me, it's not something that I would want to see again. Number one, and number two, I, to be honest, wouldn't want to recommend it to like my homies and be like, yo, son, like, yo, you gotta watch this, or yo, this will be something you'll enjoy watching. Now, if I got a new sweet chick over the house and I want to show her that I'm a sensitive guy and then I'm into tragic stories, and then like we could probably use the film to parlay us into Tubi and chill, then this would definitely be one of those joints, because it's not horrible. It's not like I've seen some joints where it's completely unwatchable. This is watchable, but it wouldn't be something that I would stand on and be like, yo, this is definitely going to be a part of my collection, or something that I will put in my list of stuff to just watch on a random Saturday. So yeah, man, like that's just me, and I'm sorry to be the bad guy. I'm sorry. And I wish you guys the best. And I think you guys will do something dope later on. I mean, if this is your first film, which it probably isn't, you know what I mean? This is a great start, man. And just keep building. And do 2 more edit passes from every film from now on. Like, just please. Sorry.
Well, this is real reviews. So I respect it.
Appreciate it, guys. I just don't want to be mean. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to disrespect them. Or like, you know what I mean? I just wanted to be honest.
No, I appreciate that, because you said some factual stuff. There's some stuff that takes you out of it, and if it takes you out enough, I understand your rating. So I'm with you on that one.
Word.
Yeah.
But everything you guys said is super important. And like you said, man, there's so many other indie directors that don't have those capabilities, the way to shoot the way they did. The acting is so good, bruh. I'm not lying about that. I really enjoyed the acting. I was super impressed. I kept saying, like, damn, the acting is good. Like, even the little second and third characters were great actors. The direction is good, but that's that.
Yeah, well, like I said, all of those guys were recognizable. They've been on TV and film for a while, so it was a pretty good cast, and I'm actually very impressed that they were able to pull these guys together and get it done. I would like to see Trevor Jackson in future stuff, and hopefully I need to check his IMDb and see if he's got some more stuff coming. But anyway, so that is actually our review, our show. That Panther, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I do not.
JS1, anything you want to say in closing?
Trevor Jackson, get in the gym and start doing action films, bro. I mean, I think he could take it up to another level. I mean, you already got a physical appearance. You're a tall guy. I mean, he should be doing more. You know what I mean? I feel like he could be doing bigger films. So I feel like
he's really focused on his
act.
music right now. Yeah, he's got a lot of albums. I think he just put out an album not too long ago. Something kind of, his lane is more like R&B. I want to say kind of like think Chris Brown.
So I take everything I just said back. Stay slender, softcore porn, OnlyFans, Cinemax late night stuff, R&B music.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Let's get to the money.
Gotta get them bags.
The bags, man. Like, I mean, let them know. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, we thank y'all for joining us for another Real Reviews, and we'll see y'all on the next one.